small rural town, and Wisconsin has plenty of small rural towns. And the closest competitor, Katie, how far did you guys have to travel before to go to a football game or a basketball game or a speech tournament? What would you say?
Some of the kids had to get out like a couple hours before the school day got out. They didn't really have any close schools. You had to travel a while.
It's probably 45 minutes, hour, 2 hours. My other daughter, Emily, is on the volleyball team, and sometimes it would be a 2-hour bus ride. So when did they miss class? The last part of the day. So what Aaron and I did is we said, we'll confess here. The flipped classroom was born because we were tired of helping kids after school. There it is, I confess. Because we would spend this enormous, these kids would miss class because they'd be gone for the last 2 hours every day, and then the day that they could, they'd come and they'd get their tutoring in chemistry. We're chemistry teachers, and we'd have to spend and reteach it all. And so we discovered this software. And so I did the chalk talk. I had a PowerPoint. So I would just put the microphone up, I push start, I push stop, and then I made it available on the internet. So in the spring of 2006-07, we just recorded our lesson. We put it on the internet, and crazy things happened. People found our videos. It's like, you like my chemistry videos? This was, you gotta remember, it's hard to remember like the world pre-YouTube, okay? But there was such a world. It did exist. And that's when this got started. There was no such thing, or YouTube actually was there, but nobody knew about YouTube. And if nobody thought about using it for education. We didn't post our videos to YouTube, we put them on Google Video, if you remember that. And people found our videos and found them useful. And that was our first year. And I don't know if you've noticed this, but in my years as an educator, I've noticed that kids sometimes get frustrated. They get to a point where they're stuck and they don't know what to do, and they're, what do I do? I need help. So Aaron and I were talking about this one day. And by the way, if you're going to do this, it's so good there's so many of you here. Do it with somebody else. This was born in a conversation over lunch, and then we had time to sit and just talk about education and think about it. Because then we had this idea. And this was our question. We said, what if we don't lecture anymore? Hey, Katie, when's the last time you heard me lecture in the science class?
Never.
Never.
No.
Ever. All right, she sat in my classroom I didn't sat, you didn't sit, you learned, really, right? She learned in my classroom for 2 years, and I never lectured once. Now, you could say, well, you did lecture because it was on the videos, but not in front of the classroom. So we committed, Aaron and I committed to pre-recording every single lecture for the entire year ahead of time. Now that meant sometimes I was up at 6 in the morning getting it ready, and Aaron was up at 11 o'clock at night making them. But we decided that we weren't going to lecture anymore. I'm not sure, we said, what if we do this? And so let's watch a short video where Aaron kind of explains this.
I'm Aaron Sands, and I teach science here at Woodland Park High School. My ultimate goal, I guess, as a teacher is to help students become learners who can learn for themselves and by themselves. One of the problems that I was guilty of even prior to flipping my classroom around was the classroom was centered around me. I told them exactly what to learn, how to learn it, what assignments to do to learn it, and when to learn it, and how to prove to me that they learned it. I don't do that anymore. We changed the place in which content is delivered. Instead of standing in front of a class and delivering, here's how you do this type of problem, here's how this works, I deliver that direct instruction now asynchronously at home through these videos that we make with Camtasia Studio.
Times till whole, because the last step, they were already whole numbers. We had 1, 1, and 4. Here we don't have a whole number. So here's a few little tricks when you need to multiply by whole numbers. If one of your numbers ends in 0.5, you're going to multiply by 2.
Something 0.5 times it by 2.
Right.
Okay, write this down.
Yes. If something ends in 0.3 or 0.33 or 0.66, you multiply by 3.
When the kids come to class, they don't show up to learn new stuff. They show up to apply the things that they learn at home and to ask me questions about the things they learned at home. So now they can have my lesson, if you will, what I would normally have stood up and lectured to in the class with some added features. They get that at home. Then what they were expected to do for homework is now what they do in my class. Life is different for me because I no longer am the guy who stands up in the front of the classroom and just yaks at the student for an hour, or however long the class is. Now, I walk around the class and I help kids. I'm a tutor, I'm a guide, I'm the putter-outer of fires, whatever it happens to be in my crazy chemistry class, I walk around and do that. I don't stand up front and teach on the kind of the traditional model. I'm Aaron Sands, I'm a teacher, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I love Camp Agent Student.